Good morning, Newcastle fans. TV, or good afternoon while you're watching the time of this. It's 7:15 in the morning. I fell asleep last night. I was going to do this video last night, but I fell asleep. What can you do? Right, so I'm going to do this before I head off to work. So apologise if I look a bit... Right, so Moussa Sissoko has let his mouth go yet again. He's now just expressed that he wants to leave the club. I'm going to blow it up on your screen of what he said, and then we'll have a quick chat about what I think what should happen. Right, so he's been talking to a magazine called Foot Mersato, I think that's how you pronounce it as. So this is what Sissoko's been saying. He said, "It's flattering that a coach like him, a great coach, wants to keep me." So he's talking about Benitez. "But I think he knows that I've got to get a level where playing in the Championship would be difficult for me. I must continue my development. I aspire to play in the biggest clubs in Europe and continue to be in the French side. I think Benitez understands. Today, if I play in the Championship, I can forget about the France team and many other things. I have already had discussed this with him. My representatives will have a discussion with him. I think he knows what I want and where I want to go, so I hope there will be no problem for me to find happiness in another club." And then he went on to say, "Personally, I have not spoken with the club. I don't know what was being said, but I hope with all my heart. I arrived there 3.5 years ago, when Newcastle was a complicated situation and helped them stay up. I will not say I knew how to save them. We maintained the club. I gave everything there for 3 years. I hope that today they will be smart enough to understand that to continue my development, I need to keep playing at the highest level. That goes from to another club. As I could stay in the French team, I could not stay in the Championship. There will be discussions. I hope they will go, in my opinion. I want to leave." So that's what he's been quoted saying. So about Moussa Sissoko, then Newcastle then come out with a statement later on that day. Newcastle United statement read on the official website. Newcastle's official statement, and what it turned around and said: "We have inquiries for some of our players, but our position remains the same. We want to retain and build a strong squad at Newcastle United for the forthcoming season, and that is absolutely what we will do. We will always act in the best interests of the club and the squad." So there's going to be two things that I'm going to talk about then. So first of all is the Moussa Sissoko one. Now, every time Sissoko seems to go away with France, he always seems to be quoted because France, for some bizarre reason, see him as a higher end league player. Now, we know that Sissoko has the ability, he has the talent, but he just doesn't show it week in, week out. Now, for me, I think he is talented. A lot of people get on Sissoko's case that he doesn't show it enough, and you could argue the toss with a lot of other Newcastle players that don't as well. So I kind of back him in that sense, but in the other sense, in that interview, he went on to talk about Arsenal again. So he's been talking about Arsenal yet again. That he loved to play for Arsenal, that you watch Henry, Vieira, Pires, Wiltord, you know. So he needs to stop it. He's been saying it over and over. For me, I think if we get 10 million for him, because he's not going to stay at the club, 10 million is a good figure, but I want him personally to go on and have a fucking brilliant Euros. I really do. If he has a phenomenal Euros with France, it'll push his figure up for about another 5 million. If we get 15 million for Moussa Sissoko, I'll literally grab it off you. I will grab 15 million off you. The player's not worth 15 million. For me, I think 10 million is a suitable fee. He's got 3 years on his contract. He's a French international. Just get rid of him now. We need to get rid of him. I like him personally as a player through the middle. Don't like him out wide, but I like him through the middle. Now, what's worrying for me about Newcastle's statement there, which I'll blow up again on your screens as well, Newcastle are admitting that they haven't players bids for, so that's going to open up a can of worms. Newcastle should not have been saying that, because that's now going to open up a can of worms, especially with Wijnaldum, because we know Wijnaldum's been yapping on about leaving. Colaccini's been hinting on to going back to San Lorenzo, and now obviously Sissoko. We know this was coming, Newcastle fans. We knew this was going to happen. But I think it's a bad idea for the club to say, "Oh, we're getting bids left, right and centre." That is going to make your players unsettled. Why would you come out and say that? Why? I just don't get that. That's going to fuel speculation again and again and again. You don't want that. You want to try and keep your players to a minimum. However, Newcastle hold all the cards for all his transfers. That's the key. That's Sissoko and Wijnaldum, especially Sissoko, has to remember. He's got 3 years on his contract. He just can't just get a move. He can't just force a move. It's down to the club. If the club want to keep him, he has to stay in the Championship. It's as simple as that. Now, you might sulk, you might be rotting the reserves, but it's Newcastle decide at the end of the day. It's not Sissoko. Fans have to remember that. If he goes in the strop, then fair enough. I remember years ago, right, Alan Goma, remember him, the centre-back? He was on the transfer list and he played every game for Newcastle. So why can't Sissoko? So I'm going to leave it up. If this is going to probably spark some debate with Sissoko, do you rate him? That's the first question. How much would you sell him for, realistically? And would he stay in the Championship? So there's 3 questions I want you to answer. Get your comments down there below and I'll reply back to you. Thanks for watching Newcastle's Fans TV. I'm off to work. Ugh. See you later.